What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for clicking on the podcast and taking a listen to this episode. This one's going to be a fun one. This is introducing the boys to one of my favorite movies growing up, and so we're going to have a lot of fun with Dumb and Dumber for April Fool's Day. How silly is that? That's just us. That's just us being silly. So glad you're with us today. And if you like the episode, we'd love it for you to share and like and subscribe to our podcast. Jump up on Instagram. That's where we post the movies that we're watching, also just kind of upcoming episodes that we're going to be discussing, so you know what's coming next. And also, if you want to check out our lists, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you scream, all of those lists are up on our Letterboxd at I Am Sprang, and so you can check us out there, kind of see. You also follow along with what movies we're watching as a family, which ones, of course, that are just Kristen and I. But yeah, would love to have you give us a follow there as well if you're interested. Hope you're excited for this podcast, and hope that you're excited for a wonderful April Fool's Day, and you have many pranks planned for your family. Let's have some fun today. Well, without further ado, let's get to it. We are back. We are here for another episode of The Movies That Make You. This episode is going to be the movies that make you laugh. It is a special episode. We're not preparing for any movies. We're not gearing up for anything. This was purely just for the sake of it being April Fool's Day. And so we're going to talk a little bit about April Fools, and then we're going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite movies growing up, Dumb and Dumber. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I am Sprang, and I am the dad.
My name is Connor, and I'm 14.
My name is Jacob, and I'm 13.
My name is Colton, but you can call me CC. Cool Colton.
I'm Ezekiel, and I'm a kid.
Nice. And yes, we had a lot of fun over the past weekend. We saw a lot of movies. We've been gearing up for a lot of things, and this one was just a little one-off. I thought it would be fun to watch it. But before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about this silly holiday called April Fools. What have you guys thought about April Fools as you've been growing up?
It's most fun when you least expect it. Like, it's most fun when you forget it's April Fool's Day. Because if you know it's April Fool's Day, you're going to be ready for anything. But it's most fun when you forget and it just comes out like it always does for me.
Nice. Do you have a specific prank that was really funny that you remember?
Whipped cream and shaving bottle.
Oh, nice. Were you shaving?
No, it was at Dad's.
Oh, at Dad's? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Jacob, what about you? What do you think about when you think about April Fools?
I normally think about like people in the shower and they try to use their hair, like their shampoo or whatever, and then they wash it all out and it's still like a purple color. And the moment they get out of the shower and they look in the mirror and they're like, ah! And it's really funny.
Yeah. Connor, what about you? What's a good April Fool's idea? Like, what do you think about it? And then, like, what's a good example of a prank that maybe you did or know of?
I saw a video of a guy, the beach showers? This guy would put shampoo, and then they would try to scrub it out, and then he put more, and then it never would get out. And then they would start raging.
Yeah, I can imagine being the guy taking the shower at that point and being frustrated that I can't get the soap out. What about you, Z?
It was probably one that my teacher did in second grade. She was like, okay, guys, so we're going to go outside, and we're going to find the super rare ultra bird that no one has ever seen, but we know it exists. We start doing this, ooh, ah, ah, oh, oh, and we start doing a downward dog, and then the teacher's like, wait, guys, I know what the problem is. April Fools!
Nice. That sounds like a really fun, elaborate one. That's awesome.
And I've never heard this or done this, but I think a good one was swapping the salt and sugar, because we have a salt and sugar container, and then there's no labels. So if you're trying to put sugar on something,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and who knows how long it'll be until they figure it out.
Right. That would be a bad one if you trying to make something for a holiday like Christmas or something, and then Can you imagine making something for Christmas and then like the cake is sitting there, everybody's excited, and they taste it and it's just salty, and then Colton's like, April Fools! Like 7 months later.
I got an
Oh,
idea.
that would be crazy.
I thought of a funny prank. Tape harmonicas under someone's car, and then when they start driving, it sounds like a opera.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's funny. So I got pranked one time at a teen camp. Me and my best friend David were staying together. We had a nice room close to the front because we were doing the video editing for the whole entire camp. So we would record all the videos and then we would edit the videos there in the room. And I think there were some other guys that were jealous that we got all these kind of, because we could stay out later, we could stay up later, all this stuff because we were working for the camp as well. And so somebody went, has anybody ever gone catfish fishing?
Do you mean like you hook someone in, like you put a video or you put like a picture of like a really handsome guy and disguise it as yourself, disguising yourself as a trustworthy entity that's maybe handsome or beautiful to get someone to do the things?
Yeah, that's a different type of catfishing. Yes, but that is catfishing when you post something or you try to lure someone in that's not using your own things. No, so when you fish catfish and you go to a bait shop, it stinks really bad, like worse than the fart can, like the fart spray. And so they put that in a bowl under our bed, and so our room smelled like catfish bait for a long time until we found it. That's a prank that we didn't
Do you
like.
think you got used to it at any point?
Oh no, we found it before we would have gotten used to it. We just smelled it. We didn't know what it was and where it was coming from, so we had to figure it out.
So this is for the basketball fans out there. So whenever your basketball player doesn't notice when they're practicing, climb the 10-foot rim and get like a tack, like a pretty big tack, and tape it to the back, and then don't fall off. Climb your way back down, and then whenever they get a brick, it will pop the ball.
That would have to be a really strong tack and secured very very strongly to stay up there. But that sounds pretty baller. Yeah.
Or whenever they shoot a brick, you can throw a brick at them.
Yeah. Prank, April Fools. I got one more. So when COVID happened, we were at the house, and you guys came home from school, the last day of school, and Kristen was like, "Hey guys, I just got an email from the teacher that you don't get a summer because you didn't get to go to school for the last 9 weeks, and so you're gonna have to keep going to school." Ah, just kidding. Yeah, that was
so mad.
We've got video of that one. And then there's Kristen likes to do the other one where she puts chocolate on her finger, and then she's like, "Hand me."
She did this. I was online, so I was at home. She went through our bathroom. I was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "I'm going to the restroom." I was like, "Okay, I guess Jonathan's in the other one." And then she did it, and I was like, just confused. I was just looking at it. I didn't think it was poop. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then she started laughing. And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, she's like in the bathroom. Like, I need toilet paper, and she's got chocolate on her hands, but it was supposed to look like poop, like you were getting poop on yourself.
Also, it took me so long to find toilet paper. I was looking everywhere. Normally, it's under the sink, but I couldn't find any, so I was looking through all the bathrooms.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Last one. You can go on their phone and put all their autocorrects to random stuff. So, like, if you say "and," it'll autocorrect to like "or" or like just random stuff. I'm going to ERI also. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That would be.
Yeah, he's just yapping.
Okay, so there's this one thing I tried. It was when we were at church. Remember when I sent those super long, weird texts?
Oh,
They were super long. So just do, those like 3 like correct things, like when you're like trying to spell and you get like 2/3 of the way there, and you should just keep spamming it. You just keep spamming it. You just do it. It's really funny, and my dad actually banned me from doing it because it was so annoying.
It was very annoying. If you'd have done it one time, it would have been funny. But when you do it 500 times in the matter of 2 minutes, it was just, that's funny. Cool. So let's go ahead and get to the movie. Just to give us some background, 1994, directed by the Farrelly brothers, starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. A little background on that is that Jim Carrey at this time was like the funniest guy on the planet. Okay, so he had Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber all come out in the same year. So like 1994 was Jim Carrey's like, he's the next big comedian. He's going to be just bonkers for the rest of his career. So they were trying to find somebody that would be a good pairing for him, because when you're a comedian, it's sometimes hard to be able to act and to be funny with another comedian because you both have a different way of being funny and it doesn't always work on screen. So Jeff Daniels ended up going in, and he's a 100% dramatic actor. Like everything up until this point has been like basically a serious movie. And so they were like, we didn't know if it was going to work. So with that said, how did you feel like Jeff Daniels did in the film?
I didn't know that he was like a drama actor, but just being able to switch up your character that fast, and just like it's such a drastic change too. But I feel like he really played the part really well. It was funny.
Yeah.
Who was the guy who had the chip tooth?
That's Jim Carrey.
He's pretty funny.
Yeah. What's another movie that he stars in that we know of that's going to come out later this year?
Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
That's right. He plays Mr. Robotnik or Dr. Robotnik in that. So that's one of the current movies that he's in. But he did all those really, really, goofy comedies, and then he actually took some dramatic roles and really stretched himself. And I think he's one of the really good actors. And I think honestly, in this film, watching it this time, there is a lot of humor, a lot of funny humor. But when he needs to go serious and he's playing into the humor, but he's playing it, the character is serious, he does a really, really good job. So the one time that plays out is early in the film. They both have lost their job. They think that the gas companies come to collect on their bill or turn off their bill, so they escape. When they come back, their pet's head has fallen off, right? But there's this long thing where he kind of goes into, I want to go somewhere where we know somebody that can plug us into the social pipeline. Like it's all that's all funny. But then when Harry gets onto him and he's like, you just want to go to Aspen and you just want to do this for this girl. And then it cuts back to Jim Carrey and he's standing at the window and he's like, I'm tired of being a nobody. And you know what's worse than that? I'm tired of having nobody. That little 3-sentence line was completely serious and completely believable. And then it jumps in the humor again, and he says, all right, let's go to Aspen. You best not be fooling it. And then they hug it out and all that stuff. So anyway, I just thought, I hadn't seen this movie since probably 2018. I think I made Kristen watch it with me because it's one of my definitive humorous films. She'd seen it, but I wanted us to watch together. So anyway, all right, that's kind of my take on it this time. Seeing those little moments where I can see in the next few years, he's going to be able to pull off these really dramatic roles because it's those little snapshots of being completely serious.
Listen, I'm getting kind of serious, and these podcasts, just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you go and do something like this. Yeah, let's do a podcast. And you totally redeem yourself.
Wonderful quote. That's a top 10 quote from the film. 100%. All right, so let's go around the room. I asked you guys to kind of think about funniest parts. Colton, can you go first? What was your the funniest part of the movie? What did you think was the most fun?
My fish's head fell off.
Your bird.
A bird.
The fish.
My fish's head fell off.
To be fair, fishes and birds are a lot alike.
Yeah.
But because they can both fly.
So what made that part so? What made that part so funny?
The funniest part was when the blind kid got the dead bird with his head fell off, and then later and it was like, I just wanted to have a trustworthy friend.
I just thought he was really quiet. Yeah, so I have to do that quote though, because like he's like, where'd you get the money? Oh, I sold some stuff. Like I sold all this stuff and this and this and Petey. What, you sold a dead bird? Harry, I took care of it. It didn't even have a head. Oh my gosh. That whole bit is so hilarious.
He taped his head on.
With duct tape.
In my opinion, my favorite part is when Harry is like, okay, just buy all the necessary essentials, okay? And then he just goes ahead and buys a giant cowboy hat. And then he's like, old ma'am, do you have anything to spare? I'll go cash in this thing so I can get you the 90 cents, okay? He does something, and then the grandma just steals all the stuff. And then he's like, Harry, some old lady. Her soul was so kind. She took it all.
Yeah. So one of the best parts about that is she was very willing to do it. And then he said, old people, while slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose. Don't go dying on me. So he was being real rude to her. And so she's like, deuces. And then he comes back to Harry and he's like, I got robbed by an old lady in a cart. I never even saw it coming. Oh, all right. Anyway, Connor, what about you? You got a funny part?
When was this movie made? Just
1994.
That's why. He was driving an old Ferrari, and I was like, that's an F40. Yeah, it's an old Ferrari. It's so cool.
There's this girl that Harry didn't really know, but she not really liked him, but like faked liking him. And he's at a hotel, and the girl is there too. And we didn't see this happen, but out of nowhere, Harry gets a bulletproof vest and a gun, and then he tries to shoot the bad guy, and he misses all of his shots. But then the girl comes in and saves the day.
Yeah, and then so they go, they just gave me a gun and this bulletproof vest downstairs. And then Lloyd asked a very reasonable question: what if you'd gotten shot in the head? Yeah, what if I'd been shot in the head? That was a risk we were willing to take.
At least he wouldn't puncture his brain because he doesn't have a brain.
Oh, roasted! Okay. So one of the other lines from that scene, and this is a line that goes down in infamy from this movie, is that he asks her, so what are the chances of a guy like you and a girl like me ending up together? What does she say?
I'd say 1 in a million. And then he goes, so there's a chance!
Yes, the line is, so you're saying there's a chance. So if you ever hear your mom or I say that, it's because it's from this movie. So anytime, no matter what the odds are, it's 1 in a billion. So you're saying there's a chance. It's from this movie.
Peppers in their burger, and then they give it to that guy. They're trying not to laugh. It's so funny.
Yeah, they put the peppers. The guy said he doesn't like peppers. They don't realize he has an ulcer and he has to take medication. So they put the peppers on his burger. He takes a bite and he's having a panic attack, like a incredible like ulcer attack. And then he's like, give me my pills. They get him the pills. Turns out he was there to poison them, and they accidentally poisoned him with the poison pills. And then he's like, listens for his heart. Check, please. Which means, let me get the check so I can get out of here, and you leave him for dead. So pretty funny. For the movie. Not funny to leave dead people or to kill dead people.
Oh, that's very funny. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sigma.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, so any other funny parts? What's another funny part that you remember?
So there's this one time where their toilet was actually broken, and the guy was so mad at the other guy for stealing his girlfriend. He put like what?
Laxative, yeah,
Laxative
which is
in his
tea or coffee.
his tea, and then he drank it all, and he was just he was Jacobing that toilet down Oh, he was engulfing it with poop. And then,
The lady knocks at the door.
hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm just shaving.
Okay, yeah, I just thought I'd save some time. Okay, well, I hope you're not using the toilet because it's broken. What? Can you imagine? That'd be so embarrassing. So amazing. All right. Anything else? Any other funny parts that stand out?
It was when they stole the car for a motorcycle. I mean, what? Because cars are faster than motorcycles.
Yep. That's the joke. And the van is like a $20,000 vehicle, and the moped is like a $200 vehicle. And so he's like, traded this kid for it straight up. You know, vroom vroom. And that's where that line that Zeke quoted earlier, which was, "Just when I think you couldn't get any dumber, you go and do something like this, and totally redeem yourself." Any other funny parts? What about his tongue getting stuck to the?
Oh
ski lift? It's
yeah,
pretty funny.
yeah, that was funny.
Another one, just real quick, was the one where they're riding on the moped and it's getting really cold, and he's like, "I gotta go pee." Just go, man. And then he pees, and it's like, "Oh, that's kind of warm." And then they get to Aspen, and he get off the moped, and they're stuck together because the pee froze them together.
I was like, there's snot. The
Yeah.
snot.
Yeah.
It was so just. It was like frozen all the way. It was so gross, and I hated that. That part was so.
The other one, just real quick on that scene, is when we're there, and then they fall over. Yeah.
I liked a very funny part was when they were there and they were opening a wine bottle, and then the cork hit one of the
endangered
birds.
Yeah.
And it didn't even show it dying. It just cut to a scene of it on the ground, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, really bad, because these are the last two of this species. They've just spent all this money to protect them and save them, and these two idiots kill one by accident. So let me say one other thing. There's a famous moment in this film where it was famous to me and all of my friends, and Kristen didn't say that Kristen says she'd never really quoted this one, but we quoted it all the time. And it was, Jim Carrey comes out of the gas station. They've stopped to get gas. He comes out. He sees two dudes standing there with their big gulps, big huge drinks, and he's like, "Oh, big gulps, huh? Well, see you later." Gets in the car and drives off. Now, one thing that's really funny is that those guys didn't have any idea that he was going to talk to them. He's just supposed to come out of the gas station and get in the car. But he stopped and said something to them that becomes kind of this funny moment. It's like awkward and weird. And so we used to use that quote all the time whenever we were having a talk. And then it just kind of like a story ended and then nobody's talking. Whoop, big gulps, huh? So pretty funny. Awkward light, yeah.
That sounds like something Zeke would do.
Oh, yeah. Whoop, see you later. Big gulps.
No, big gulp. See you later. Like, so random.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, this is one of the last parts of the movie. So Harry and Lloyd are like, "Man, when are we just gonna get a break?" And then a bus that said bikini tour on it, a whole bunch of ladies were just looking out the windows, and they were like, "Hey, we're looking for some fine men to grease us for our next competition." And then Harry's like, "There's just two fine men down at the right." And then the bikini girls got back in the bus and they were driving, and then Lloyd's like, "Harry, do you realize what you've done?" Then they just run, and they're like, "Stop. The town is actually that way, to the left."
I'm really impressed that you were able to quote that entire thing, because that was almost verbatim. But yes, that's another funny, very funny part too, to kind of close off the movie, like how dumb these guys are. Man, we're going to get our break. One of these days, we're going to get our break.
Is that Riz?
It was, but it was Elriz, the way they reacted.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and rate it.
A 4, but the Rizziness was just off the chart, so I'll give it a 4.25.
Nice. Jacob?
I'm giving it a 5.
Huh?
4.25.
And Zeke.
5 out of 5.
Awesome. And I think I do have this as a 5. Just, it's not an Oscar winner film by any means, but it got so much that it just grabs me and makes me laugh so much. Very cool. All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. It's kind of a short one today, but kind of a fun reflection on the movie. It's always interesting to hear which parts stand out to the boys, which parts are the funniest. And I know it was a lot of quotes today, but it's just one of those movies I've quoted since it came out. So, and that was, this year, that's 30 years ago. So that's kind of bonkers, but it's fine. It's fine. You're only as old as you feel, right? So, yeah. So anyway, wanted to give you guys a heads up about what's upcoming. Next Monday, we're going to be doing Tenet. Jacob and I are going to discuss after seeing that film for the re-release, that film by Christopher Nolan. The 2 weeks following that, we're going to be doing some short reviews of movies we've seen in the theater since we prepared for them, and that is Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire on the 15th, and then Godzilla X Kong on April 22nd. We're going to be discussing those. They'll probably be a little shorter because it's just one movie, but we felt like it was fun. There was nothing coming out at that time that felt like something we needed to gear up for, so we're just going to kind of do some refreshers there. The week after that, April 29th, we're going to be doing a special episode on Star Wars because of the re-release of Episode 1, another movie from 1999 that is now 25 years old, Episode 1 of Phantom Menace. So we'll be doing a Star Wars heavy episode, just kind of talking about which favorite movies, which favorite characters the boys have, and all that stuff. So we hope that you'll join us for that. And, we hope you're enjoying the podcast and sharing it with your friends. We have a lot of fun doing it, and hope you're enjoying listening. So until next time, keep watching movies.